All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're unfortunately going to be talking about how a series of tweets from who else but Mr. Trumpy Trump himself sent the markets headfirst straight off a cliff today. All right, so over the course of this video, we will take a look at a few articles that cover the story itself. Of course, obtain an understanding of what's going on in general. I do want to give you guys my personal take on what's going on and let you guys know what I think could happen in regard to the markets. And of course, we will take a look at the charts. Also, I'll give you guys my technical take on what's going on and let you guys know what I think could happen in regard to future potential price action. As always, we'll go over each topic that we're going to be discussing, and then we'll dive into each one individually. In front of us, TradingView, again, we will be taking a look at the S&P 500 today. That is the equity index that I personally choose to use to sum of the equity markets. You can see here, right when the tweets were released, a huge flood of red. If you guys were trading today, you would recognize that. But today isn't really what matters. I really want to zoom out and let you guys know what I'm thinking about the big picture, because that's right now really matters a lot more to me. Okay, so we will take a look at the charts. We will, though, kick off this video with an emergency email that I sent out to my email and portfolio newsletter this morning, right as this was happening. It's crazy. After I sent out my first newsletter, which I do send out every morning, this happened like literally right after I sent it out, and I had to get this message out ASAP. So we'll read this quickly, just give you guys my very brief thoughts on what happened this morning at the time of it actually happening. We'll look over these actual tweets from Trump himself. So again, you guys, we'll really dig into what happened here. We'll take a look at a few articles. So Bloomberg, Trump halts stimulus talks, spurring Powell in a roiling market. So Powell, Jerome Powell, I did mention him in actually my newsletter this morning, but Jerome Powell is the chairman of the Federal Reserve. He is the one in charge of printing the money, and we'll get into why that's important, why he's mad at Trump, why pretty much everyone is confused as to what Trump did. Moving on to CNBC, Trump's illogical, I think it's a great word to use, move to end stimulus talks baffles Wall Street and Washington. Okay, so we'll just read some key points here, try to keep these short, and again, I do want to give you guys my personal take on what's going on. All right, so let's just kick it off with this right off the bat, get straight into it, you guys. A series of tweets by Trump just crashed the market. Again, because I sent this out like right as this was happening, right after it happened. You guys, I'm about as center as it gets. This is important, and I truly try to stay away from getting political. But in my opinion, this is the stupidest thing that he could have possibly done. If he doesn't reverse his order by tomorrow, I will likely sell all calls and replace them with puts and VIX calls. Unless he wants to guarantee Biden's election, he will. So we'll just have to wait and see if he wises up. Very foolish move, bud. Okay, so I did refrain from putting a clown emoji right next to Trump's name. I was furious when this news was released, you guys. If you guys have been tuning in, you would know that I've been talking for weeks now about the fact that a stimulus package, a successful stimulus deal, is the only thing that could hold up the markets right, or continue the rally that we're seeing in the markets right now. And not only for the markets, but for the good of the American citizens. There's so many people who are freaking suffering right now and having a very, very hard time and actually need this money. Okay, so this really did piss me off. This made me very mad, not only for the markets as a trader, for all of you guys who I really care about as well, who I know were disrupted today by just this foolish strain of tweets and this impulsive decision by Trump. It makes me pissed off, not only for you guys and us as traders, but just for the well-being of the people who are really struggling out there. Okay, so really did make me mad. Let's go over a few of these tweets right here. Nancy Pelosi is asking for $2.4 trillion to bail out poorly run, high crime Democrat states, money that is in no way related to COVID-19. We made a very generous offer of $1.6 trillion, and as usual, she's not negotiating in good faith. I'm rejecting their request and looking to the future of our country. I've instructed my representatives to stop negotiating until after the election, when immediately after I win, we'll pass a major stimulus bill that focuses on hardworking Americans and small business. So he's pretty much threatening the country to say, like, I'm not going to do this until I win. But once I win, hey, then we'll get a huge stimulus bill. Huge stimulus after I win. So this, you guys, again, I'm center. I try not to get political at all, but this is so hard not to dislike. And I don't think any rational individual, you guys please give the video a dislike if you got your red hat on right now and you're pissed off. But if any rational individual would think this is freaking ridiculous. This is so dumb. This dude's a fool. Senate Major Mitch McConnell, not to delay, but to instead focus full-time on approving my outstanding nominee to the U.S. Like, why is he talking about this? The stock market is record levels. Not anymore. Jobs and unemployment also coming back in the numbers. We're leading the world in economic recovery, and the best is yet to come. The economy sucks. I don't know where he's getting these metrics from. Literally just today, which we'll get into, Jerome Powell talked about how the economy needs stimulus. Jerome Powell is the chairman of the Fed. He's the one printing the money. He's the one with all the metrics. He's the one who knows. And again, you guys, forgive me for becoming a little emotional, but this gets my blood hot. All right, so you guys, this made me so upset. And again, not only for the markets, but for the good of so many people who need this stimulus right now. Let's move on to these, and again, you guys, we will take a look at the charts as well, so keep that in mind. Trump halts stimulus talks, spurring Powell and roiling markets. Democratic-led House last week passed $2.2 trillion stimulus bill. Two sides have been negotiating for months for a compromise. You guys, another thing that freaking irritates me about this is that when he was sick, just literally a couple days ago, he was talking about how these two needed to come to an agreement, stop arguing and butt heads, and then now that he's better, this dude's just invincible, right? What's the deal here? President Donald Trump ended talks with Democratic leaders on a new stimulus package. Hours after Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's strongest call yet for greater spending to avoid damaging the economic recovery. I've instructed my representatives to stop negotiating until after the election, when immediately after I win. Again, we just read that, Trump said in a tweet Tuesday. Stocks tumbled after Trump's posting called an end to months of hard-fought negotiations between the administration and Congress. Democrats had most recently pushed a $2.2 trillion package that failed to garner Republican support in the House, while the White House had endorsed $1.6 trillion. Okay, so right now, before we go any further into these articles, you guys, I want to let you guys know what kind of immediately came to my mind. The first was that if this dude's serious about this, then he is just, the good old Ronskis got straight to his dome, and is really impeding his ability to make rational decisions. Or two, he's prodding the Democrats by doing what he does a lot, and that is making an impulsive claim and hoping that they bite. He's sending out some bait. He's baiting the Democrats to hopefully meet him more on the Republicans' terms than theirs to reach a fast stimulus deal. Okay, so he's either baiting them and hoping that they really kind of fall into the Republican side of the argument for a stimulus deal and really kind of give up a lot of the things that the Republicans do think the Democrats are just kind of I'm going to say ridiculously throwing in there. It's not I've just read that in articles, but more unnecessary things that the Democratic side is putting into the stimulus deal package. And I think he might just be baiting them towards, again, really just pretty much agreeing to the rights deal. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I do hope that's the case. Again, we need freaking stimulus, not only for the markets, but for everyone. And I hope that's the case. I hope he is just baiting. I hope he's just being a marketer right here and a slimy businessman. But if it gets the job done, whatever, it just makes him look just irrational. And it's pretty ridiculous. Okay. So that is just kind of, I'm just thinking out loud right now, you guys, but that is the first thing that came to my mind this morning when I saw this ridiculous tweet. Trump's illogical, again, great word, move to end stimulus talks baffled Wall Street and Washington. Again, we'll just read these and then we'll take a look at the charts, all right? President Donald Trump's decision on Tuesday to end negotiations over additional COVID-19 stimulus left investors and political strategists baffled. Many saw the president's tweet as a self-inflicted wound, with one banker calling Trump's move illogical, especially just weeks until Election Day. The uproar began when Trump wrote a series of tweets saying he directed his negotiations to abandon talks until after the election. So this is a great word right here, self-inflicted wound, okay? Why? Again, in the tweets that we just read, you can see him talking about how once I win, and when I win, there'll be huge stimulus, okay? But he's not going to win if he doesn't get a stimulus. You know what? The one thing everyone in this country wants right now, sick of politics, sick of it all, they want money. They need more money. You give them money, you get the votes. It's so crazy that he would even try to pull this as a bait, like I was talking about before, because it's so detrimental to his mission. If he really wants re-election, he either really doesn't want to be reelected and he's just sick of being president. So that's a good way to accomplish that goal if that's what he wants. I don't know. Maybe that is. Then he's playing it right. But if he wants to be reelected, this is the stupidest. This is so ridiculous. Again, it's self-deprecating. It's a self-inflicted wound. All right, you guys. So let's get to this, you guys. Again, the day-to-day doesn't matter. This was rough, you guys. I'm sorry to any of you who had a rough time today. Trust me, I'm right there with you. But there are ways that I am structuring my portfolio if this does continue. Again, if the stimulus talks are not, or if he does revoke this statement and he does choose to actually proceed with stimulus talks and get them done prior to election, like I'm talking like by the end of the week. If that doesn't happen, then there are things that I am doing, and I always do. I've talked about it many times in the past. We'll talk about it again today, to hedge my portfolio and profit when the markets crash, okay? Because there's ways to do that. There's put options. There's calls on the VIX, on volatility. We'll talk about that a little bit. But again, I want to let you guys know what I'm seeing here. And again, we'll go all the way out. So 5 years out. This looks a little crazy, you guys. Let's scroll down a little bit here. So 5 years out, you guys. I did mention this in, I believe, the election. So if you guys haven't watched the video I posted, like probably is a month or so now, titled "Will the 2020 Election Crash the Stock Market?" I talked about this megaphone pattern, I believe, in that video. So you can see here, zooming out all the way from February of 2018. Okay, so 2.5 years ago, over 2.5 years ago, is when this megaphone pattern started playing out. You can see here, we're still significantly, even though the economy was so far greater in 2018 than it is now, you can see the market and the economy are very divergent. They're completely diverged at this point, but again, that comes from money printing, and a weak dollar equals strong equities and assets. Anyway, from a technical perspective, you can see a megaphone printing, which is obviously called it because it looks like a megaphone, okay? It's a huge, it's going boop. All right, so worst case scenario, say we don't get a stimulus, say it does have to happen, it does happen after election. I think worst case scenario is that we actually come down and test this lower side of the megaphone. Because again, you guys, the economy is not good. The economy is objective. That's a blatant lie that the economy is good right now. It's objectively not good. Powell just came out literally this morning, literally right after Trump said that, and said that the economy is in tragic shape right now. Just look around. Look around, you guys. I'm sure many of you don't like that. It's not even an argument for many of you. You guys just know that, just looking around. Okay. So again, I think I've been saying this for a long time, and I do think that the stock market has to catch up with the economy at some point, no matter how much money has been injected into the ecosystem and how weak the dollar gets. If there's no money, people are going to need to liquidate their assets. That's what we saw in March. This was a liquidity crisis. This happened in gold, silver, safe haven assets. Even Bitcoin fell like 50%. You see this happen when people get scared and want dollars, and that will happen again. Okay, that will happen again if we don't get dollars. The dollar becomes more valuable if you don't print it, and vice versa. So that said, again, worst case scenario is we play out this megaphone. Let's get an arrow here just to really exaggerate it. So we come down. If we test the bottom line of this megaphone, you know what? Let's make this arrow red because that's way more appropriate. So red, very bad arrow. If this comes down and we play out this megaphone and truly test this lowering line of support, that would bring us down to $200. So we'd be looking at over a 30% correction on the S&P, and likely, again, you guys, I use the S&P, but the Dow, the Nasdaq, the Russell 2000, all very similar. The Nasdaq probably even more severe of a correction, okay? The S&P, I just use this because it's the most weighted between tech and legacy companies, so new companies and older companies. If this happens, you guys, I wouldn't be, to be honest, if we don't get a stimulus, I wouldn't be surprised. So this is worst case scenario, you guys. Again, there are plays that I'm making to hedge this. I hope this doesn't happen, but if it does, you have to adapt to the times. As one of my commenters said, adapt or get slapped. I love that. It's true. You have to adapt or you get slapped in the face and you get cleaned out. Okay, so I don't want you guys to get cleaned out. Again, I will talk more in the future about the VIX. I do, so call options on the VIX, you guys. Calls on the VIX, calls on volatility. The VIX was literally built as a hedge to that direct hedge to the S&P. When the S&P falls, the VIX goes up. And that's that. So there are certain ETFs you can play. There are certain ETFs that I play. Go do your own research there. The VIX, there is shorts on certain ETFs about the S&P. There's a few that I play specifically, but just pretty much just short the equity market, short the SPY, and long the VIX. Not trading advice, not investing advice. You guys know the deal. Please do your own due diligence, do your own research, make your own conclusions. You guys know the rules. But again, if you guys do want to know exactly how I'm trading, and you do want one of these nice little newsletters that I read this morning. Again, you guys, I sent this out. This was an emergency one. This was after the original initial newsletter that I sent out this morning. I'm talking about the trades I made. This was an emergency one, but this is exactly what it looks like in your inbox. Again, you guys, complete breakdown of my entire portfolio that I update every trading day. With every update, I also send an email newsletter explaining my thoughts. So again, you guys, the specific calls, the ETF calls that I have on the VIX to play volatility, the puts I have on certain things that I think will do very well if the market pulls down. I've had them on for a long time. I've had these plays open for a long time, and if the markets do turn down, then I'll definitely increase them. And again, you guys, this isn't trading advice. I'm not guaranteeing you any outcome, any specific outcome. I'm not guaranteeing you making money or anything. But if you guys want to know how I'm trading this current market environment, especially if we continue to see the market just fall apart and this red continue. If you guys want to know exactly how I'm trading it, just to know what I'm personally doing, and hopefully maybe that helps you develop your own trading style, especially if you're newer. Complete Portfolio Daily Newsletter. Again, you guys, I do send out the newsletter every day, rationalizing my trades, letting you guys know why I made the trades that I made, and just giving you guys my overall thoughts on the markets as a whole, literally everything that's going on in the world that I think is important for you guys to know. Okay, so first link in the description if you're interested in that. I really, truly do appreciate it if you check it out, if you appreciate the work I do here. Also, give the video a like if you did gain value from it. I appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and do want to catch more content like this. Appreciate you doing that as well. And of course, drop a comment down below. Let me know if you got super triggered by me roasting Trump in this, or if you agree with me. And either way, I appreciate the criticism. Keep it PG-13 down there. Yeah, whatever. Keep it R. Make it R if you want. I don't care. But engage, you guys. I always love talking to you guys. I always love learning from you guys. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Make waves. Peace.